Hi, my name is Megan Lane, here with Right at Home in Rome, Texas. Welcome to Eldercaretexas Podcast. Today we have a very special guest who we're excited to introduce you to, Mr. Shelby Hicks with Wise County Meals on Wheels. Today we've got Shelby Hicks, a new executive director with Wise County Committee on Aging Meals on Wheels here in Texas. Shelby, thank you for taking the time to speak with us today. Tell us a little bit about you.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much for having me. And um, about me, this isn't I'm actually the interim executive director. I was on the board for a few years before the opening popped up. And from a board perspective, we were trying to figure out who would be a great person to kind of fill the
Okay.
shoes of the past executive director in this intermediate time or this transitional time. And it seemed like I was the best fit from the board perspective to do that. And part of that is because I own another business. I'm a mortgage broker, and so I have a lot of more flexibility than some of the other people on the staff do or on the board. And
Okay.
and I have a real desire to participate in Meals on Wheels. And as a board member. I was often the one speaking to different organizations about on behalf of Meals on Wheels, and was becoming more and more engaged in the day-to-day activities. And so it just kind of seemed natural for me to kind of assume that role in the interim. And so,
Okay.
so that's been
Yeah,
a
because
big
I
blessing
was
just
thinking
from,
that. I was like, he's got a business, he's got a family. Like, how is he
yeah.
fitting all of this in? But that makes sense. Yeah, that seems sort of
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like a
And
natural.
the somehow it's the Lord. The only way I can have time to do any of the things I do, I don't really understand it. I just go from one place to the next as He tells me to, and hopefully good things happen. And so that kind of seems
Amen.
what has been happening. And there's been so
Yeah.
many good things that have come from Mills on Wheels in the last 90 days since I've been in this role. It's
Yeah.
been so gratifying and fulfilling
Sure.
to
Yeah.
feel like I'm working towards something that really makes an impact in other people's lives.
Yeah. No, I mean, what you do is amazing, and yeah, the impact that you have. I saw that it's something like 100,000 meals a year that go out
Yeah,
to
well,
seniors.
that's where our goal is. That's where we're trying to get
Okay.
to. I say we're trying to get to. I think that's the need that will eventually be in Wise County. Last year we served 53,635 meals. So,
Wow.
and that was to 487 seniors. And so
Wow.
my thought is, if we only served 487 seniors out of a county that has 80,000 people, and with the additional growth that's coming, there's estimated, I think, the messenger put out a while back that there was 24,000 homes coming into Wise County. And
Wow.
so if you do a rough average of 2 to 3 people per household, you're looking at doubling the population of Wise County probably in the next 5 to 8 years based on building timeframes. And if we're
Wow.
serving 485, 87 seniors last year, uh, I think that the need is already there to grow. And I think it's only going to be magnified once the new population starts to roll into Wise County.
For
And
sure.
we have to be prepared for that. And I think those are the things that we're working on right now. And there's a lot of different things to be prepared for, from facility wise and making sure that we actually have the resources necessary to do that. The funding is always a big part of the puzzle, is figuring out funding issues. And then we also have volunteer needs and the logistics of, when we cook all these meals, how do we make sure they get to everybody? I mean, right now we're running 43 different routes a week. And so that typically requires 43 different volunteers, or roughly 35 volunteers to fulfill that. And if we're looking at doubling that in the next 5 to 6 years, it's we're going to have we have to be a lot more organized in our ability to handle the magnitude of what we anticipate coming. And so that's what pretty much all hands on deck to start working on those things, and not only fulfill the daily needs we have right now, but really to be prepared for the incoming growth that we anticipate.
Yeah. Okay. So that's a lot for 2026. Like, I guess as far as volunteers go, like how are you guys looking on that front? Like what are you needing from the community right now?
Yeah, thank you for that because we have had I want to one I want to praise my board because when I came into this role I realized that that was a big issue. I mean, we have three admin that work here in the main office, and nearly every day 2 to 3 of them were having to go do routes, and so they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing in the office because they're having to fulfill our ultimate job, which is feed seniors. So that's the
Yeah.
priority. And then so they end up having to work late and work weekends and stuff to fill in that. So when we brought this to our board's attention, when I took over the role, in a matter of 45 days, they found 7 volunteers to fill those 7 routes in the week that hadn't been filled. So as of last week, we're 100% on the 41 routes. But we had to add 2 more routes or split, so now we're too short again. So it's just
Okay.
evolving circle of trying to figure out how to um, have the right amount of routes and the right amount of stops per route per volunteer because nobody wants to spend 4 hours out, dropping off food. They got about an hour and a half to 2 hours worth of their time, and we have to be very respectful of that. So we're trying to make sure that they have an experience that they're fulfilled on because they're volunteering their time and their energy, and we want to make sure that they're getting what they want out of it and that we're not asking too much of them so they don't feel that pull to go do something else.
Okay.
And so we're always
And
thinking of that.
yeah, and what do your volunteers look like? Like what are the requirements or for anybody out there who might be thinking about it but maybe thinks that they don't have the time or what do they have to do or what
Or
do
the
you guys need
skills
from them in
or
order
yeah.
for them to sign up?
Absolutely. Well, the thing is you can serve in a number of different ways, and it's so the probably the biggest need would be drivers. Right now, we do have all of the immediate routes handled, but that next level of being more robust would be to have a buddy system where every person has a route. But if you can't do your route that week, I would love for you to have a buddy that is your friend that you're connected with, that it's very easy to have that conversation, say, hey, I can't make it this week. Would you be able to do it? And then those things can kind of be, pardon me, resolved before they get to our desk, and then we have to figure out how
So
to
there's
do that.
no call outs, so to speak.
Essentially, yeah, I would love for there to be. I'm looking at we need about 100 volunteers to participate. 40 of them would be more regular, and then we have like a reserve of 40 to 50 that are like emergency drivers that at any given
Um,
time they can step in. It wouldn't be a full commitment, but whenever they're needed, they're willing to do it. So that's kind of the
and
first thing. And really, you just have to have a driver's license and a car to do the
how-
deliveries. And so that's a pretty simple thing. You do pass background checks because we are sending you to elderlies, and we want to make sure that you don't have any history that would bring into question anything. So that's
yeah.
part of the process, but that's usually never an issue. And then if you want to volunteer at the kitchen, that's kind of a different skill set, different hours. They start at 6 in the morning. They usually work 5 to 6 hours every morning from 6 to 11, preparing all of the meals. And there's a number of different tasks and jobs that could be very valuable, whether it be breaking down boxes, stacking the freezer, cutting up vegetables, a number of different things you can do there. And then also you
Something
can
for
go to the senior
everybody.
center, and the
Yeah.
senior center is a great place for you to interact with the seniors that show up daily to do activities. They do bingo. You can go call bingo, which is very fun. And
Yeah.
you can go do puzzles. You can just go interact and hang out.
Yeah.
So there's lots of different ways to participate if you want to. And then we can try our best to kind of find what is important to you and what you want to do, and then try to plug you in so that way you get the best experience as a
Okay.
volunteer.
Yeah, absolutely. And drivers, they don't necessarily drive every single day of the week. It's usually one day of the week
Correct.
they have
Correct.
one
Yeah.
route. Okay.
That's usually what happens. We have a handful of people who choose to do multiple routes a week. That's only about 3 or 4 of them. Everybody else selects a day and then they do it either once a week or they split it with someone else and do once every other week. And so it's really a customizable thing. You're not really committed to anything. We really want you to enjoy what you're doing. And so where there's a lot of conversation back and forth, how did that go? Did you run into anything? Did you enjoy it? Stuff like that. And then if they don't, then we try to find something else. And if they really do, then we lean into that and try to find them their own route.
Yes. Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
It's 2026, beginning of a new year. What new things are coming, or what can people expect to see with Wise County Committee on Aging?
Right, man, what a great question. Because when I sat down at this desk, I had a lot of ideas of what I thought would happen and what I do. And part of that is limited by how long will I actually be in this seat and doing that. But what I really would love to see is us building some foundational components that allow us to have immediate success. But not only that, when the next person fills these shoes, they're not in a building stage, they're in a management and running stage. And so some of the things that we have coming out this year that I'm very excited about is we're in the process of a partnership with a new facility, a new building that's coming up, and it'll be located on 380 across from the Trinity Fellowship Church, where currently the Classic Club is there. It's a small event venue, but right next door to that, we're building a wedding venue that Meals on Wheels will be able to utilize every day. And then on the weekends and evenings, it will be an event center. And so
Oh,
it is a huge blessing for us to be able
yeah.
to enter into a partnership with them. And it's going to allow us to simplify our process because right now we're operating out of three different locations. We have a senior center that's in Decatur. We also have the admin office, which we're attached to the Warm building, and then we have all of our meals being cooked out of the Chico City Hall. And so there's a lot of logistical things. We have things dropped off at different places. So we have
Yeah.
a full-time driver that just, drops meals off at the different offices, and then we have volunteers come pick them up. And so it's a bit of a process. And so we're really looking forward to simplifying that and having one singular location where the meals are cooked and the volunteers show up and everything will be picked up and delivered from there. And so I think it will simplify things. We're really
Mhm.
excited about enhancing our senior center experience, essentially. The building that they're in right now, although we're so grateful to have it, it has its challenges and its problems. We have some plumbing issues and flooring and things like everybody else does. So um, we don't love spending money on stuff like that. If we're going to spend money, we want to spend it on things that are going to, feed seniors and stuff. So it's a necessary part of the process, but we're really grateful that we're not going to have those just steady landlord type problems, where you have to kids continue to take care of the building and keep it up to date. So that way the seniors have a good place to sit and visit. It's important
Yeah.
that they
No,
feel
that's
proud about their
exciting.
space.
That's huge.
So
Yeah.
that's probably our biggest thing. And so we're very, very excited about that. And then some on the internal stuff, we're implementing some more technology that hadn't been implemented before, which I think will help streamline our process and create more consistency and reliability in the route planning and optimization and stuff. And create a mobile friendly experience for the volunteers. Right now, they're working off sheets of paper and they have to, do old school, which isn't a terrible thing. But if we could advance and kind of get with where technology is leading us, I think that it's just part of that growth process. Because if we're managing, we had 487 seniors we served, and approximately 200 or so of them are homebound meals. The rest of them are congregate meals where they come to the senior center and eat. And those homebound meals, if that's going to continue to grow, then we're going to be managing and moving routes and stuff. So having the AI technology that helps optimize that process, I think will be very, very good for us. I think it'll help streamline and create a better experience for the employees and for the volunteers and the
Yes.
seniors, because the seniors will have a more of a consistency and will have insight to potential problems that come up with volunteers. I mean, there's flat tires, cars break down. There's, somebody gets in a conversation for 20 minutes with a senior and they're late to the next one. They're not late, they're just delayed to the next
Yeah.
drop. And then inevitably someone calls and says, "Hey, you're 10 minutes late. Where's my food?" And then at that point, it sparks us to start making phone calls and figure out, well, where are you? What part of the process are you in? So
It
this
all
will
trickles
kind of give
down.
us an insight. If we use this software, they'll just every time they deliver, they click a button, said that, it's been delivered at this time, and then we get that update in real time. So when we get that phone call, we can look and say, "Oh, well, your driver is 2 stops away. They'll be there in 10 minutes," or something like that. So just some little subtle
Very,
ways for us to provide better service.
yeah, yeah. No, that sounds great. Definitely very good way to track everybody. I know firsthand what it's like delivering meals, and for the homebound seniors, a lot of
Yes,
times you're like the only person that they see for that day. There have
absolutely.
been instances where I have shown up and someone has fallen, someone has been on the ground, or they answer the door and they're bleeding and they don't even know that they've been bleeding from their head. And I'm like, what's happening? So, I'm able to get help for them. The ladies at the senior center are amazing with helping them with all sorts of resources and things that they need. So it really is just so important for volunteers to be there and to
Very much.
show up for them, to let them know that there are still people out here to help you and that care, and we're going to be here for you. Of course, now for bingo, that's a whole nother beast, but they really do appreciate having people come and do
Yeah.
that for them. It's a great way for them to be social. What are the best ways for anyone who is wanting to get more involved? How do they contact you or contact the office?
Yeah, well, there's 2 ways. I mean, you're welcome to call the office, and our office hours are from 8:30 to 4, so somebody will answer the phone. It even our phones route to our cell phones, so there shouldn't be any reason during those hours that you wouldn't be able to reach one of us. But you can also go to the website. There is a volunteer section or tab in the website where you can fill out your information and articulate what type of volunteering you would like to do, whether it be kitchen work, driving, what have you. So it kind of gives us a perspective. And then we'll
Is
reach
that
out to
is that
you
Meals
and
on Wheels Texas, or Meals on Wheels TX.org?
Meals on
Okay.
Wheels, wisecounty.org. And then
Okay.
you go to a tab called volunteers and scroll down, and then you'll have an opportunity to put in your name, email, phone number, and then what type of volunteering you'd like to do.
Okay.
And
Perfect.
then we'll receive that, and then we'll reach out to you and set up a time for us to have a conversation and better understand what your desires are, what you want to do, elaborate on the experience, and if it's something you really want to do, then we'll set that up and be very grateful for your service.
Yes. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, is there anything else that you'd like to add, Shelby?
Well, I just wanted to double down on what you're talking about from the benefit of the mental side of this. I mean,
Mhm.
when people mostly think about Meals on Wheels, they often think about it's just food insecurity, or it's, less fortunate financial people, or people that are on the lower scale of income being affected by this. But when it comes to, we keep up with poverty level, not necessarily income level. And we have 41% or I think it's 41% of our clients are under the poverty level, which means that, obviously they're in not so great shape financially, but that means that it's still 60% that are above the poverty level. So it's not necessarily an income thing. It's more about nutritional health and making sure that our seniors are not malnourished. If I say that properly. Um, and we had some pretty crazy statistics that 17% of seniors are malnourished, and 42% of the incoming seniors on our program are considered malnutrition. And
Wow.
so, that is a big part of it. But what you mentioned a minute ago that should not go without being repeated is that the isolation that most of these seniors feel is horrible for their health. It's
Yeah.
absolutely horrible. I mean, they've done some studies that loneliness that a senior can feel could be the equivalent of or could cause early death at the same level of smoking 15 cigarettes a day. is one of the studies that we'd found, and kind of the highlights that for whatever reason stuck out to me, that
Yeah,
that same feeling
that's mind
causes.
blowing.
Yeah, yeah, it really is. And so when I see that, I'm like, well, what can we do differently? And it's essentially just spending time talking and visiting, doing that welfare check essentially, that you get to do daily. It's saying, hey, how are you? What are you doing today? What are you going to get up and do today? Are you going to go do your dishes? Are you going to do this? Or what are you going to do? But engage their mind in conversation and giving them something to look forward to the next day. When you say, okay, well, I'll see you tomorrow. That's that one thing in their day that
Yeah,
is different than anything else.
yeah,
And it's such a blessing to be able to be a part of that. And we get so much feedback on how impactful that is. And we get family members and friends calling saying, thank you so much for doing this. And it's just it's something that needs to be done, and we're grateful that we have the opportunity to do it. And so that's a really big deal to me, is making sure that all of our seniors get the interaction that they need and they desire. And they can do that at our senior center, but not all of them are equipped to being able to get in a car and drive up there. And so a lot of times that's done at the delivery phase, and our drivers are just so amazing at checking in on people and making sure that they're okay, and then bringing us feedback. Hey, so and so's in the doctor for a couple days, or hey, this happened, so make sure you mention this. And so they're very good at giving that feedback. But anyways, that's probably the last thing I just wanted to mention, that it's the cognitive decline that a lot of our seniors have during this phase of their life um, is a big challenge, and we're able to do our part to kind of help combat that a little bit. So it's
yeah. No.
such a blessing.
It's
So
a huge,
there's also
huge
room for
difference.
anybody who wants to just go visit with these people. I've visited with a couple churches, and some of the members were like, cool, can we just go hang out with them? They absolutely love that. If you just befriended somebody and said, hey, I'm going to come over and check on you and be your friend. They
Yeah.
very much need friends. And last thing
Oh,
I'll say is about the transportation. We do offer transportation as well. So if any of our seniors need a ride to the senior center, they need a ride to a doctor's appointment, they need anything, they can call up here and we'll arrange them transportation. So that's another one of the
nice.
services that is usually overlooked, that we do quite often.
And for those that maybe can't physically volunteer, what ways can they help donate?
Oh, wonderful. That there Well, right now is a great time for that, because we're on the verge of having our gala, and it is a Gilded Age theme, and that'll be on March 27th. And so from a donating perspective, we absolutely love general donations. If you just want to come by and bless us, we will absolutely accept that. But for those that are business related and you like a little dual purpose with your money, you'll get the good feelings of donating to a good cause, but simultaneously you'll be able to get highlighted at our gala and be able to show that you put your money to good use, and you help the people around you. And so you can buy a table if you want to. You can be a major sponsor. There's a couple of those left. But even if you just want to participate on any level, raffle items and gift cards are phenomenal. So any business that wants to participate, if you just give a gift card, we have a team of wonderful volunteers that like to package up all of the different things that we get and make big baskets that we can raffle off. So you don't have to feel like you have to come to the table with a big basket. If you just want to bring a gift card to your business, we will throw it into one of our other baskets and be extremely grateful. So there's a couple different ways that they can do that.
Well, Shelby, I
Of
appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here with
course.
us today and sharing your message, sharing information about Meals on Wheels. And yeah, we'll leave all of the contact information for anyone who wants to call or go online and hopefully get some more traction with more volunteers from the community, or just anybody who would like to donate. We will add that information in there.
Awesome. Well, thank you
All
so
right.
much for this time. Thank you for
Yeah.
inviting me on, and thank you for all that you do for our organization and Right at Home. Y'all are amazing partners, and we're so grateful to have you.
It's wonderful when you have a job that gives you purpose and meaning, and
It's
you see how much of a difference that you get to make in people's lives. Thank
awesome.
you, and we'll see
You as
you
well.
at the gala.